In this video, I'm going to show you how you can rank your fashion brand in large language models like ChatGPT and Google's AI mode. Traditional Google results are still extremely important. My clients are still making a ton of money ranking their collection pages and product pages in Google, but it's really important to consider AI because more and more people are doing searches on large language models. I'm Tyler Nelbach, the founder of SEO Align. I've helped dozens of fashion brands improve their organic traffic and revenue. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can rank in large language models to supplement the traffic you're getting from Google. So please like this video to show me you're excited, and let's dive in. Okay, so I'm going to break this video down into 5 steps. Step number 1 is understanding how large language models work. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a search for some sort of a fashion keyword here. So I'm just going to type in best denim jackets and hit enter. And what I'm looking for here is I want to see what type of results ChatGPT is coming back with, because this is really valuable for us to see if we're selling denim jackets, what is ChatGPT currently coming back with, what format is it coming back in, and what can we actually do to show up in the things that they're bringing back. So you can see right now they have expert recommended denim jackets. They list Levi's Trucker, Alex Mill, Elwood. They've got women picks over here. So really what they're doing, they're breaking it down. They've got men's picks, they've got women's picks. They're also looking at latest fashion trends. So that's super helpful for us to know. And then they're picking out specific products for us that might be good for what we're going for. Looks like they're linking directly to them. Then they go through how to actually choose the best denim jackets. So there's a lot of information here, recommendations by need. It's really important to understand how this is structured because it's really going to shape how you actually go after this. So a couple of things that we need to make our goal for this is we need to figure out how we can be a recommendation, and then we also need to figure out how we can be a source. So if we scroll all the way down to the bottom and click sources, you can see all of the sources that were used to come up with this information. And you can also see by each individual pick here, you can see they've got sources that have contributed to this. So we want to be one of the options. In this case, maybe we sell a men's denim jacket. We want to be one of the options here that it suggests, but we also want to be one of the sources, because being one of the sources is super important because we can actually shape what the actual narrative is around the products if we can be a source. So really helpful information to see here that they're giving us the picks. Other things, latest fashion trends. So that's really helpful to know because we could have content out there about the latest fashion trends, and we can be a source by having some sort of an article on fashion trends. So that's super helpful to see. Keep scrolling down, how to choose the best denim jacket for you. This is another one. We know it's coming up with information on how to choose the best one. So we could be another source for this type of query. So we need to figure out, is this something, can we create an article for how to choose the best denim jacket in order to be one of the sources here? Because again, if we're one of the sources, we can actually shape that narrative and push people towards our products. So really important to see the actual layout of large language models. So I wanted to point this out. What I would do is I would actually do a few searches for some of your biggest keywords and just kind of that root keyword of, in this case, we've got best denim jackets. A lot of times people are using large language models for keywords that are a lot more specific than this type of keyword, but this is a really good starting place to figure out how they're serving up results when you do kind of that root keyword like this. So do this for some of your biggest keywords to just first understand how ChatGPT and how Google's AI mode, how they're actually serving up results, because that can shape how you actually go after this. So it's really important to have that understanding before you move on to the next step at all. Okay, the next step I want to talk about is identifying the topics and the key phrases that we actually want to show up for. This is something that's really tricky right now with the current state of large language models, just because we don't have true data on what exactly people are searching. And so we have to get a little bit crafty with how we figure that out as far as what we need to show up for. One way you can do this is to just ask ChatGPT, what are the top 10 ways people search around this product? This isn't going to be perfect because it's just giving us best guess, but it's something that is going to give us a starting point, something to work from. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste that in there. And we can see some of the options here. What are the most popular styles of denim jackets right now? Where can I find oversized denim jackets for women? these are actually really good to start from, because this is the way that people are searching in large language models right now, and they are getting actually even more specific than this. But these are really good options to work from to just kind of understand like what people are searching, how they're searching it, and what you can do to actually be there. So another good way to do this is to just use Google. So I'm just going to plug in best denim jackets, hit enter, and I'm going to scroll down to people also ask. So you can see, should a 60-year-old wear a denim jacket? Which brand makes the best denim? Can a 50-year-old man wear a denim jacket? Who manufactures the best denim? And if you click into these, it's going to keep bringing more. And this is super helpful because we do know Google is showing these because people are actually searching them. So these are real topics people are searching for. And if they're searching in Google like this, they're definitely searching in large language models like this too. So this is a really helpful way to really see how people are currently searching in Google in a more specific way, because we know people search very, very specific in large language models. So we can take some of these topics and really just figure out how we want to go after them. So what I would do is copy and paste these people also ask questions when you get a good list. Okay, so then what I would do is I would take the people also ask questions and copy and paste those just into a spreadsheet. I'd also take the ChatGPT ones that we have, copy and paste those into a spreadsheet. So then what we have here is about 20 different key phrases that people are likely searching in large language models. And again, we're looking for those more specific types of searches because that's how people use large language models. And so what I would do is put down the general topic that we are searching for. So best denim jackets. We have phrases, a bunch of phrases to look at. And then I would also put down the source just so we have that information too. So then what else I would do is I would take your other core topics that you have for your site and just do this for maybe your top 5. So maybe you have denim jackets, maybe you have denim jeans, maybe you have denim dresses, like really just kind of work down that list and come up with these phrases, because these phrases are going to be really, really beneficial to shape how we are actually creating content and how we're actually putting together a strategy where we can go really deep on these topics so that we can take traffic from Google, but we can also take traffic in these large language models like ChatGPT and in Google's AI mode. Okay, step number 3 is topical authority. Now that we have a really good list of key phrases, now we need to figure out how we can actually go deep on a topic so that we can be showing up in large language models for that topic. So a really good way to do this is to take one of these key phrases. So in this case, I'm going to take which brands make high quality denim jackets that last a long time. I'm going to take that and I'm going to plug that into ChatGPT, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what it actually comes back with for us. So in this case, we see proven and long-lasting denim brands. We've got Levi's, Lee, Taylor Stitch. So a lot of these are really recognizable brands. I'm going to keep scrolling and keep scrolling so you can see word on the street. They have Reddit insights. So that's actually really helpful for us to see. Keep going. They've got some product options, final thoughts. So the biggest thing I'm concerned about here is I'm going to open up the sources. I'm going to move my face out of the way. And what I'm looking for here is what type of content is ChatGPT looking at when they're trying to give us the best results. So then I'm just going to take note of this, because when you scroll down, the best men's jean jacket ages like fine wine, the 9 best denim jackets for sustainable brands, the best denim jacket brands in the world today. So the biggest things that stand out to me in this is I'm seeing a lot of articles about the best denim jackets or the best denim jacket brands. And then I do see one that's very, very specific about the best men's jean jacket ages like fine wine. So this is very specifically about jean jackets lasting a long time. And a lot of these aren't quite that specific. A lot of them are just looking for the best denim jackets. But you can see it's actually beneficial to have an article about the ones that last a long time, because that matches our query better. So really helpful to see that. Another thing I'm seeing is Reddit and Wikipedia. So 2 sources. So 2 specific sources is grabbing information from. And I'm also seeing YouTube, which is really interesting to see. So it's really helpful to see this information because it gives us an idea of what type of content should we have if we want to show up for this keyword. and what types of platforms and sites are ChatGPT actually pulling from. So really important to see that. And for this step, we're just a little bit more concerned about topical authority. So what can we actually do to drive a topical authority for this keyword? In this case, looking at the type of content it normally serves up, it looks like the best denim jackets, that type of an article is going to be the best route because that's the type of article it sources the most. So what I would do in this case is I would put together and I would spend a lot of time on building a really good resource for the best denim jackets or the best denim jacket brands. The really, really important part about this is when you put together this article, you want to make sure that you're listing yourself as number one. So in this case, maybe you're writing an article on the top 10 denim jacket brands in 2025. You should absolutely have your brand be number one and make sure you have relevant competitors that you would actually expect to see underneath you. I know it's really hard to do, especially if you have competitors that you are just looking to blow out of the water. You definitely want to make sure you have realistic competitors under you and you're not just like grabbing random websites, because you have competitors that ChatGPT and other large language models are expecting to see. It makes your article more legitimate than if you just have your brand and then like 9 other brands that nobody's ever heard of before. It just makes the article more trustworthy when you have legitimate competitors that are mixed in with you. So really important, because what happens is you can write this article and you can actually be used as a source for this type of search. And then what happens is you're used as a source, so you're going to be linked down here, which is an opportunity for traffic, but you're also influencing the types of brands that ChatGPT is showing up here. So it's a really big opportunity to just on your own site create an article that goes into really good detail on this topic, because you're setting yourself up to be sourced here. You're setting yourself up to actually improve where you're showing up in large language models. But then the other thing is this article is also going to be an opportunity to rank within traditional Google results too. So you're really doubling up on a asset within Google traditional results, and then you have an asset that's benefiting you for large language models. So then what you can do is you can come back to the spreadsheet and you can take, in this example, which brands make high quality denim jackets that last a long time, what is the type of content we're going to create, and this is going to be maybe a blog post, and then the topic is just going to be something along the lines of top 10 denim jacket brands. Then what I would do is I would just go through this list, and you'll see that a lot of these are going to have some overlap. So you're going to be able to cover a lot of these topics with this top 10 denim jacket brands topic, which is fantastic. You just have to have a really good piece that's going to cover these topics and potentially be used as a source and influence the results that are showing up in ChatGPT. So you might also see, based on the sources that you're looking at, that it might be beneficial to create a specific collection page for a more specific type of denim jacket. So it's just kind of reading how these large language models are using sources, if they're using articles, if they're going straight to the brand and looking at their collection pages, really gauging that to see, do we need a blog post? Do we need a collection page? And figuring out what that content is, because then you create that content and make sure it's a really good piece. You're going to benefit your results in the traditional Google results, but you're also going to influence the large language models too, which is going to be really beneficial for you to show up as a source, but also to show up as an actual recommendation from the large language models. Okay, step number 4 is getting featured in the sources that ChatGPT is pulling for queries. So in this best denim jackets example, I'm looking at the sources on the right side, and you want to figure out if there's any way for you to get featured in these specific articles. So what I would do here is I would go ahead and I'd open up every single one of these and figure out how could we get featured on these actual sites, on these articles. So some of these aren't going to be the best example, because you can see like Nordstrom, Wrangler, some of the very specific brands like this, we're not going to be able to get featured on them. It's not like Nordstrom or Gap. It's not like they're going to feature us in an article that they're doing. Just being a competitor, that's just not going to happen. But the ones that you see that are just specifically articles from publications, those are sites we actually could get featured in. So what I would do is I would just reach out to every single one of these sources, open them up, reach out, send an email, see if there's any way that you can get your site featured as one of the brands. You just need to make sure that when you're reaching out to them, you're providing some sort of value for them that makes sense. They're not just going to go update an article just for fun, just because you asked. It's going to have to be something that you're providing for them. Maybe you're going to actually provide denim jackets for them to be able to review and actually include in their roundup that they're doing. Or they might just take a sponsored placement to actually include you there. It doesn't really matter how you get there. It's just you just have to be in as many of these sources as you possibly can, because that's a really big way. A lot of these brands that are featured in large language models, it's because they're featured on these really good publications. So go and reach out to as many of these as you can. And even beyond this, once you've exhausted this entire list, I would recommend finding other fashion publications and just seeing if you can get featured within any of the content they're doing, or if you can write a piece of content that actually is going to get featured on their site too. So you could take a similar structure that you did for your site, where the top 10 denim jacket brands, you could do a very similar but a different variation of that and pitch that to potentially do a guest post for a different for a different fashion publication, to see if you can get featured on their site. Because then you just do the same thing where you would have your brand be at number one and have competitors underneath you. So in this case, you already have an article on your own site and you want to get featured on as many third-party websites as you possibly can, especially some of the really, really big publications, and definitely especially the publications that are featured already as sources for that keyword within ChatGPT or other large language models. So this is a really important aspect. Using the information that ChatGPT gives you is super valuable because they're showing you exactly the sources that they're pulling from. So if you can be in those sources, if they can include you, you know that you're going to have a really good chance of showing up in ChatGPT. Okay, now step number 5 is actually showing up in the traditional Google results. So ChatGPT and other large language models do searches within Google, within other search engines all the time. And what they're doing is they're looking actually at the websites that are currently ranking. And that's actually a factor that they're considering when they're serving up the results that they are. So making sure that you're showing up in the traditional results for the keyword is a super important factor. And so I'm not going to go into a ton of detail in this video because I have a lot of other videos on YouTube that you can check out where I actually show you how to rank in the traditional Google results. But the biggest things is making sure when you do a search for denim jackets, look at what's currently ranking. We'll open up a few of these. Open up 4 of them. So make sure you have a page that makes sense to rank for this keyword. So you can see this one that's ranking number 1. This is a collection page of jean jackets. Looks like to be another collection page of jean jackets. Another one, we've got Wrangler, which is a collection of jean jackets. And then we have Chico's, which is another collection of jean jackets. So we know just based on looking at this, if we want to rank for this keyword, we have to have a collection page. So that's super important to understand because if you try to rank for this keyword with a blog post, it's just not going to happen. So the first thing, make sure you have a collection page. I'm going to open up this first one again. Make sure you have the keyword in the title tag, another super important factor. So up here, women's denim jackets, this is perfect. Make sure you have the keyword in the H1 tag, in this case, women's denim jackets, perfect. They have a little snippet underneath it, women's denim jackets for year-round layering. I think that's perfect. I'm going to scroll down, and this is a brand that does this really well too, is having content underneath the products. So this is just a way Google relies really heavily on text content to figure out what a page is about. So having some text content underneath the products is a really beneficial way to make the page more relevant for the keyword you're trying to rank for. So they just have a heading here, AG jeans, outlet, women's denim jackets, and then they're talking about denim jackets underneath here. This is pretty much purely an SEO play down here. Nobody's really going to see that content. They're just looking at products. But that's why you put it underneath the products, because you don't want to put it above the products, make users scroll down a bunch where it's creating a bad user experience. You want to put it underneath the products where they can see the products and you can have text content underneath here to make the page more relevant for the keyword that you're going after. So those are some of the big things. Then you want to drive as many backlinks as you can to your website in general, but also to this specific page. That's going to be a really important aspect to make sure that you're building as much authority as you can. The more authority you have with as many backlinks as you can get, the better you're going to show up. So this is actually a super important aspect in order to show up in large language models, is just making sure you're doing well in the traditional Google results. Make sure that you're showing up here, because if you are showing up here, it's going to give you a really good chance to show up in large language models as well. So if you follow these 5 steps, you're going to give yourself a really good opportunity to show up in large language models like ChatGPT and Google's AI mode. If there's one thing I can recommend, it's do not just completely jump ship from the Google traditional results and shift all of your efforts over to large language models, because my clients are making a lot of money from the traditional Google results with their collection pages and their products pages showing up. And large language models are still very, very new. And they are generating traffic from my clients, but not nearly as much as the traditional Google results and the Google shopping is. So there's still a lot of money to be made in the regular Google results, but more and more people are searching in large language models. So if you can start implementing some of these strategies now, you can make sure that you're still doing well in the traditional Google results, but you're also setting yourself up for the future where you're also showing up in large language models as well. If you have a fashion brand and you're looking for help with any of these strategies as far as SEO goes, or making your site show up better in large language models, I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description where you can schedule a call to meet with me. And if you got value out of this video, please like this video and subscribe for more fashion SEO videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.